Greetings, my little yarnivores. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial for you. And today I'm going to show you how to make this really lovely, squishy, slouchy hat. And I've made so many of these, and the reason why is because they are actually surprisingly simple. It may not seem so, but believe you me, they are. Just stick with me and we shall do it. All right, so now to make this, you are going to need 1 skein of Charisma yarn, and this is by a company, Loops and Threads. Now, I believe that it is exclusive to Michael's. However, what you can do is you need, basically, it is a bulky yarn, a weight of 5. And now, typically, it does say that you would want to use size 13 needles, which is what we are going to be using. And so, you can use, a weight of yarn that is similar. However, I really like the self-striping aspect, and today I'm going to show you Sunny Day, which is this lovely colorway of blues and greens, and it's so vibrant, and yeah. All right, pardon me. So now, aside from your weight of 5 yarn, you are going to need circular knitting needles. This one, well, this is less negotiable. All right, so you're going to need circular knitting needles. Now, this is a total of 16 inches long, and they are a Takumi brand, and it is a size US 13. And I find that these work out really, really nicely. You can use metal ones, that's perfectly fine, but the size 13, 16 inches long, yes, you are going to need them, along with, of course, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker. Very important. This will help you, help us. All right, so get your stuff together and we shall get started. All right. Alrighty, so now to start off, we do our typical slip knot. No big shocker there, right? And what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to cast on a total of 50 stitches. This is what works for me size-wise. Now, depending upon, of course, the size of the hat that you want, you may need to increase the number of stitches or decrease the number of stitches. I am an adult, and this fits me nice and comfortably. You may need to go up or down, but whatever you do, just keep it in increments that are divisible by 2, because we're going to be doing a ribbing for the base of the hat. So we start with our casting on, and I'll do a couple of these, and then I'll do the rest off camera so as not to put you into a stupor. All right, so just keep going, stitching away, well, casting on away. And so we're going to need 50 of these in total, all right? So I'm going to meet back up with you when I am done with my cast on, and then we will go from there. All right, back in a flash. Okay, so I have cast on my 50 stitches, and as you can see, they're all on the interior of this ring, if you will. Now, what's very, very important is that you don't twist your cast on stitches. Otherwise, you're not going to end up with a hat. You're going to end up with a Mobius, which is a bit of a problem. So, for instance, say your stitches are like this. Yes, you will, in fact, have a problem. So, because this circumference really is not that great, you should be able to see if you have some twist going on or not. but it is definitely something to be aware of. Also, when you're starting out, see this? This is my tail yarn. I cut this shorter than what it was. It's about a little bit more than a foot long. You want to cut this, and you do not want to confuse your tail yarn with your working yarn. Otherwise, you won't get very far. All right, so now this is where our stitch marker comes into play. You put your marker onto your right needle. And what we're going to be doing now is a 1x1 ribbing. It's going to be alternates of knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, all the way around. That's why the total has to be divisible by 2. And we're going to continue to do this for approximately 1 inch to 2 inches. Again, the exact measurement is not crucial. It's a matter of personal taste, which of course is your own. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by going in with a knit stitch, and you want this to be initially a little on the tighter side because you don't want it to do what they call ladder too much. Okay, so we've got a knit, and then we bring it to the front to do a purl. And then we bring it to the back again, and we do a knit. And then we bring it to the front again, and we do a purl. And then we bring it to the back again, and we do a knit. And you can see where this is going. It's just very repetitious, back and forth. Now you can see, right now I'm up to a purl stitch, but let me just do this, and then I will show you what I'm going to show you. All right, and bring it to the back. Okay, so now you can see that we did a knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. The purls always have the bumps, and the knits, it's just a nice clean V, okay? And that will help you keep track of where you're at. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this all the way around, and I will show you what to do when you reach the end of your first round. All righty, back in a flash. Okay, so I'm almost done with my first round, and I just have 2 more stitches to do, a knit and a purl stitch. Alrighty. Then we bring our yarn to the back again. Now, here's where we have our stitch marker. So basically we're just sliding it from one to the other, making sure that our tail end is nice and taut. And then we continue on just as we have been by doing our knit 1, purl 1 ribbing. And that's really just to keep track of where we are at as far as the round is concerned, that marker. It's not crucial, but I really find that it helps. And also that way, when I'm supposed to be going to sleep, I can say, oh, just 1 more round. Granted, I end up saying that about 20 times before I actually do end up going to sleep. But, say, just 1 more round. Just 1 more. Just 1 more. And so basically you just continue on in this fashion, doing your knit 1, purl 1 ribbing. Now, let me see here. Let me put this aside for just a moment. Now here, you can see there's sort of like little ladders. Let me see if I can get in here. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So approximately, okay, give or take, approximately 7 rounds you will be doing this purl 1, knit 1 ribbing. And then what you will do is you will proceed to be just doing knit stitches. And you'll be doing that for the rest of the project, which makes it super easy. You know, you do not have to think about anything. You don't have to turn your work because you're going in the round. It makes it so easy. And to me, it makes it a lot quicker too. All right. And so we're going to continue on. And yeah, I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, do the knit 1, purl 1 ribbing for about 7 rounds total, and then switch off to doing the knitting. Now, when your work is on the needles, okay, when the work is on the needles, you are going to be seeing this surface on the outside, okay? If you're working as I am working, this is going to be on the outside. And actually, I find that this is a good thing because it protects this outside surface while you're in the midst of making the project. So actually, I find that preferable, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to then proceed to do approximately from where you started to where you're about to finish, you're going to do approximately 11 inches, 10 to 11 inches of stitching, okay? So, to recap, going to do this for approximately 7 rounds, and then you are just going to be doing knit stitches, okay? And which personally I find to be easier than doing purl stitches anyway. Personal preference. And so then, after I'm done doing that much, I will show you how to finish off the hat. And you will be in business. All right. See you in a bit. Hello again. After much knitting, I am just about done with this slouchy hat. All right, so I did my ribbing for approximately 2 inches, and then kept knitting quite a bit, and so much so that I only have about this much left from my original skein. Now, the total length, it really is a matter of personal preference, but I measured it out. It's approximately 11 inches or so from the very base to where the cording is on the needles. It's approximately 11 inches. And I think it makes a really great slouchy hat. Now I just got a couple more stitches to go, and I'm going to show you how to finish off this hat. It is so simple. It is one of my favorite hat patterns of all time. And it is just so easy. All right, so that's my last stitch right there. Boom. Can take my marker off now. Okay, and then going to cut a nice long tail, a couple feet, maybe like 3 or 4 feet worth, just because you want to be sure that you got this, okay? And we got our yarn needle, thread this on through. And you really don't need one of those extra large eye needles. This goes through pretty quick, pretty easy. All right, so then what we do is, okay, so this is where we have our yarn on this needle. Now we want to scooch the needle up so that it does not drop any of our stitches that we worked so hard on. Okay? And then our left-hand needle, we're going to basically be threading our yarn through the stitches, casting them off of the needle, off of the knitting needle and onto the yarn needle, and just thread them through. You know, you do not want to drop your stitches right now. You want to be careful. And every bunch or so, just pull your tail through, catching all of your stitches. And I'm having issues already. Ah, here we go. There we go. See? And you do this with all of your stitches all the way around. Yeah, another thing is be sure to catch all of the plies of the yarn onto your needle. Otherwise, you're going to run into a problem later. All right. So I'm going to finish running through all of these stitches, and I will meet back up with you when I'm just about done, okay? We made it this far. We can keep going. All right. Okay, so I just have a few more stitches left. Wouldn't leave you hanging high and dry. All right. So just going through the remainder of our stitches. And the reason why I came up with this, I mean, it's not necessarily an original idea, but the reason why I decided to do this, what I call sort of a drawstring bind off, is because I really am not a fan by any means of having to decrease for the crown of the hat. And that is why I figured, you know what? I would much rather put in a bit more work and make the hat big as opposed to dealing with the decreases, which is I'm just not a fan of. I wholeheartedly admit it. So after you're sure that all of your stitches are on your tail of yarn, this is where the fun happens. All right, and then basically you pull the yarn, closing this opening here. Now you do by all means want to be careful, because after all that work you don't want to pull so tight that you end up splitting your yarn or just downright snapping it. That, oh, please be careful. All right, so that's about as closed as I'm going to get it, which is perfectly fine, because now what I can do is I can go underneath here. Now again, this is not an exact science, only because this area is going to be so bunched up that it doesn't, you know, it's not very visible, so it doesn't really matter that much. So after putting your needle through one of the stitches, you then wrap the yarn around your needle, and then basically creating a knot to secure it. Now what you can do is this hole here, you can cinch it up a little bit more. Again, it is not crucial, but I think that it just finishes it up a little bit if you go in and do a couple of stitches across. There we are. You know, do a stitch across, and then do sort of like in a wheel formation. You know, you don't have to go crazy with this. You really don't. But I like things to be secure, and I like things to look neat and finished. And of course you want to pull your yarn fairly taut so there aren't these gaping loops to contend with. Now let's see what it looks like from the outside. Let's take a look-see. Flip that around, and then, yeah, see? It's so bunched up. See, that's where I did those stitches, that you really don't notice it that severely, you know? And I don't imagine that people are going to be following you that closely, examining where your stitches are. So, I mean, it's a decent close, you know? And I absolutely love the simplicity behind it, you know? We're not doing surgery. We are stitchers. We are having fun, 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 fun. All right, and then, you know, do yet another knot to finally secure it. All right. And I like to do another one just for good measure. Oops. There we go. And then we don't have to really weave this end in. We can just snip it. There we are. And then, last but not least, we have this other end down here at the base to contend with. You know, it's nothing major and pretty easy to finish off. If I can get my needle threaded here. There we go. Not a huge hardship. Okay, so then for finishing this off, what I like to do is go up into the stitching, and I like to grab one of my V's and then go up, grabbing another one, going up into the next one. And because this is the knit side, the opposite side is the purl side. So, I mean, this is inset into the interior. So you're not going to notice it as much as if you were working within these purl stitches here. So there is an advantage. Alrighty. And then, so I got my way up to the top there. And then, quite often what I like to do, actually, is I like to go, you know, you have your umbrellas and your smiley faces. I like to go up through the umbrella, down through the U, up through the umbrella. And also you want to be sure that you're just catching that one layer of yarn. All right, and then going down. Okay, see? You really don't see where those stitches are, do you? And then I just go down a few of these and snip, snip. You know, I don't like there to be a lot of knots where it is going to be directly touching you. However, that's why I do a lot of weaving and sewing in. All right, so we have ourselves a fabulous, self-striping, very squishy, oh, these things are so delightful, slouchy hat. Listen, I hope that you really enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did making it. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that this will inspire you to make one or more or many more of these of your own. And just remember what I always say, that knowledge is power, but sharing is caring. Please make one of these, share it with somebody you love, donate it to someone in need. This is the season for giving. Don't forget that. And listen, until the next video, I want you to stay caffeinated, stay inspired, and above all, stay stitching. You have a great, great day, and I will catch you soon. Bye now.